Hello everyone, I hope all of you are doing well. Today's video is about checking the validity of your biometrics. So whether you have given your biometrics in the past 10 years or you have given your biometrics recently, in case you want to check if your biometrics is still valid, watch this video. We are going to begin by going to the official website of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada at www.cic.gc.ca, as you can see on the screen. As we move further, we check on the search tab and we type in check status tool for biometrics. We click on this and we will see various search results on biometrics. Before I move further to give you the details on how to check the biometrics validity, please understand that some of us have given biometrics in the past when we first applied to Canada as a visitor, student, or a worker. Please note that biometrics done within the last 10 years for any category will be valid today also. If more than 10 years have passed to your having completed biometrics, then you would need to reappear for giving your biometrics. However, if you still have any confusion, you would check today's video to know if your biometrics are still considered valid. So we'll move further and click on the tab Facts about Biometrics. As we can see on the screen, there are various aspects that are covered under this topic, like who needs to give the fingerprints and photo, means the biometrics, how to give the biometrics, where to give the biometrics. So these topics can be studied and discussed in detail if you check this particular page of IRCC website. Before moving further, where I will be taking an example on checking the validity status of a student's biometric, I would like to discuss who needs to actually give biometrics. Normally, anybody who is applying for a visitor visa, a work or a study permit, permanent residence, refugee or asylum status, an extension of stay in Canada, and a work or study permit extension, these people are required to give their biometrics at the nearest visa application center. So, there are people who are outside Canada and also fall under the category of giving biometrics. There are people who are in Canada also fall under the category of giving biometrics. There are certain exemptions to this particular process, and those exemptions are discussed right here, and you can click to know more details regarding the same. However, please note that during the COVID-19 situation, some changes, some temporary exemptions are in effect, and the following people are actually do not have to give their biometrics till these exemptions are in effect. However, for anybody outside Canada, biometrics is a must for being granted a, a permit or a visa. Again, if you gave your biometrics in the last 10 years for a visitor visa, a work permit, or study permit, they are still valid and you do not have to give them again if you are applying to visit, work, or study. Which means that you may have applied for a visitor visa in the last 10 years and would have given your biometrics, and you may be applying for a study permit today. So you will be exempt from biometrics, and to check the status of your biometrics which you last gave, you should use the check status tool right here to find if your biometrics are still valid. So we will click on the tab check status tool. As you click on the tab, you will see this important information note given to you which says how your privacy and your information is secured and encrypted and is not shared with anybody. It means how your information is totally safeguarded by IRCC's security system. You can have a look at this because you need to accept, press I accept on these terms and conditions in order to move further to check the validity of your biometrics. So as we click I accept, you will need to input the following information like your UCI, last name, date of birth, country of birth, and then check the status of your biometrics. It is a pretty simple process. All we need to have is our unique client identification number in our hand, our last name as evident on your passport, your date of birth as written on your passport, and your country of birth as written on your passport again. Please note that your unique client identification number remains same whether you apply for a study permit and then you apply for another visa like a work permit and then you may be applying for yet another visa in the future. The unique client identification number once allocated to you will remain the same forever and is not going to change. So the unique client identification number can be found on your application submission confirmations. It means you get a letter once you submit your application to the Canadian High Commission, and you will get a unique client identification number at that time. You can also find the unique client identification number on your online MyCIC key account. You can also find unique client identification number on any of your visas which have been previously stamped on your passport. So the easiest is to pick it up from the application that you submitted on the MyCIC account. If you submitted an online application, you will get your UCI number. So here I'm going to take an example and I'm going to insert the unique client identification number for a student's application. This student had earlier applied for a visitor visa and has recently applied for a study permit. So since his visitor visa was refused, he had already given his biometrics in the past. Now these biometrics are still valid today or not is what you can check from this particular tab. Also, there are certain people who have, especially the students who have given biometrics, say last year, and their visa was refused. Please note that these students do not need to give their biometrics again, as biometrics once done in the last 10 years will be valid till the 10 years are complete. So, moving further, let's look at what to insert in the last name. The last name will be mentioned on your passport as your surname, which is also your family name. However, some students do not have anything written in their last name or surname in the passport. In such a case, please pick up the first name or the given name on your passport and insert the entire name in this tab. Further, we are going to insert information regarding your date of birth. Please note that all these informations need to be correctly input here, else you can get an error and you will not be able to check the validity of your biometrics. So, continuing, I have inserted the date of birth of the student that I've picked up randomly from our records. And you should check on this box only if you do not have a complete date of birth. So that is definitely not the case with this student example. And the student is born in India, so we have input the required details. Once we have done so, we are going to click on check status. And as you can see right here, your biometric status will appear with the expiry date on the biometrics, and it is mentioned that your status is still valid. Now, many times it may happen that you gave your biometrics in the past, but you have absolutely no information or you've forgotten where you kept your biometric validity letter. In such a case, this is a good tool to identify if your biometrics is still valid. So everybody who is struggling with understanding if your biometrics is valid or not. And if you do not have your biometric validity letter, which has all information on your biometrics expiry date, please use the check status tool on the IRCC website, official website, and find out if your biometrics are still valid. Once you actually input information in this tool, it becomes very easy, and you can keep this particular snapshot for your record for any further checking or formalities that you may need to do in future while applying any of your visas. So thank you for watching today's video, and if you have any more queries regarding your biometrics validity or who needs to give biometrics, please feel free to contact us at #learnings@gmail.com, and we will be happy to assist you. Thank you very much for watching us.